If you're hooking up, it's fucking. If you're in a relationship, it's called making love. But the difference between making love versus having sex is more profound than you might think. While it seems obvious that making love is for someone you truly care about and having sex is for casual encounters, there are instances where the two can be reversed. All too often, people seem to think that when you engage in a tender, intimate moment with someone you're just casually seeing or hooking up with, this increases the odds of falling in love. Likewise, if you engage in rough, animalistic sex with someone you're in a relationship with, you're objectifying them. This is not necessarily true, and knowing the distinction can enhance the pleasure you get from these intimate moments. Okay, so what is the difference? I'm sure you will all understand the difference between making love and having sex once you have listened to these 10 key points. The first one, making love requires some emotional attachment. I will be exploring the physical differences between making love versus having sex shortly, but first, it's important you understand that the desire to make love to someone can exist without an emotional attachment to them. Some people will argue that there is always some sort of emotional attachment during sex. Indeed, we know that the bonding hormone is always released during sex, albeit a lot more in women than men. The counter argument might be that sex is a biological need first and foremost, so it's completely natural for men and women to desire sex simply because they are horny. This biological desire often provides the desire for someone to fuck their spouse who they've been in love with for several years. We'll explore that idea further later. The point to bear in mind here is you can have sex with your wife, but you cannot make love to a complete stranger. Number 2, making love requires you to care about the other person's pleasure. There are countless definitions of what love means, but we can all agree that the word focuses on positive feelings towards another person. As such, we surely must care about the other person's pleasure to make love to them. It could be argued that the best love-making sessions are when both partners focus exclusively on pleasuring the other person. If you are both purely focused on getting off, you're fucking. That's incontestable. There is a spectrum here, of course. You can fuck someone while performing unselfish acts. You can make love also focusing on your own pleasure. The difference between making love and having sex in this context is your main intention. Number 3, making love tends to be a more drawn out process. If making love involves focusing on the pleasure of your partner, it will surely take more time than having sex. After all, a woman typically needs longer to feel aroused and reach orgasm. If a man is focusing on her pleasure, he'll hopefully understand the importance of intimate foreplay, gentle touching, and stimulating all of a woman's erogenous zones. If he only cares about his own pleasure, he'll ignore all of that and rush to orgasm as quickly as possible. Making love might involve taking your lover in your mouth, slowly kissing every part of their toes until you reach their lips, then kissing it as if it's your last ever kiss. Having sex might involve throwing them on the bed, pressing open their legs and plowing them into submission. You get the idea. The exception to this rule is when a man tries to make love to his woman but accidentally climaxes too quickly. This is an embarrassing situation which is unfortunately common in nervous, inexperienced lovers. Let me give you some useful pointers to stop this from happening. Making love involves more eye contact and kissing. Making love involves emotional intimacy as well as physical intimacy. Eye contact is an important part of that. If you've ever experienced deep eye contact with someone who loves or is lasting after you, you'll be aware of just how intense this can be. It can bring a whole new layer of intimacy and vulnerability to love-making sessions, and one that you'll surely enjoy if you have a strong emotional connection with your lover. For those who like to hit it from the back or to have sex in other positions where eye contact is not possible, I would advise investing in a bedroom mirror. If you prefer having sex to making love, try pushing your lover up against the mirror while entering her from behind. If you are uncomfortable with the deep eye gazing during sex, that is a sapphire sign that you don't have the emotional connection required to make love to your partner. Or maybe you just lack confidence. Let me give you some useful tips to help you gain extra confidence around women. The amount of kissing that takes place could also offer somewhat of a clue about whether you're making love or having sex. Kissing has been proven to release oxytocin, and it also positively correlates with relationship longevity in women. On top of that, it's also widely considered a gesture of affection, even though it feels good for both genders. So, it's fair to say that the more you're kissing during sex, the more likely you are making love, although this is not always possible with certain positions. If you are focused on satisfying your kinks, you're probably fucking. We have established that if you are focused on your own pleasure, you're probably having sex. So if your sex is primarily focused around a particular kink, well, you get the point. Your kinks are about you. You're satisfying your urges. What if you both have the same kinks? You're most likely both still focused on your urges. What if you're only indulging in your partner's foot fetish because you love them so much? Well, maybe it's possible to make love while sucking on someone's toes. Can you do it while you're bouncing off the walls, swinging from the chandeliers? You won't get caught by the general public. That is a different argument. Once again, the intention is important. Are you both focused on each other's pleasure or not? If you are physically hurting each other, you are probably having sex. A lot of submissive lovers enjoy a bit of pain. Perhaps you slap the shit out of your partner and she screams with pleasure. You're still having sex. Not that there is anything wrong with that. Love making is slow and tender. Fucking is wild and rambunctious. So if you're spanking, biting, scratching, or choking your partner, you're fucking. I'm not saying you don't love them. A man can love his dominatrix and vice versa, but it's a hard sell to suggest that these actions are part of making love. Hopefully you're engaging in an aftercare once you're done. If you're role playing in any way, you are probably having sex. Many couples use sex to escape from reality. You can step into a fantasy world with your partner and engage in activities that you would never dream of indulging in as your real self. That is great. It's wonderful to be comfortable enough to be able to fulfill your wildest dreams with your partner. However, there is an argument suggesting that the purest love making requires vulnerability to be your real self. During love making, you're connecting with your lover's true soul and they're doing the same with yours. That is difficult when you are acting as the head teacher and she's the naughty schoolgirl. Remember, you cannot make love to complete strangers. Most roleplay falls under the umbrella of satisfying kinks, so you're most likely fucking in these moments. You cannot fake real love, and that is surely a good thing. You don't need to be in love to make love. The key question to ask when comparing making love versus fucking is, what are your intentions? Do you want to give or receive? Do you want to show this person how much you care about them or not? Answer these questions honestly, and you'll be well on the way to understanding whether you are fucking or making love. You can make love to someone without being in love with them. Is it your intention to pleasure them and show them how much you care? If so, you're probably making love. If that is not your intention, you're probably fucking. Even if you told them you loved them over breakfast that morning. If you're not sure whether you're in love with your partner, I have a video to help you understand your feelings. Fucking versus making love, which is better? Everyone has their own views about whether they prefer making love or having sex. You might think the best sex of your life was after you proposed and covered the bed in rose petals, or it might be when you fucked the pole dancer in the alley across from the strip club. It's subjective. Some will argue that the same chemicals are released in the brain either way, so there is technically no such thing as casual sex. Others will say that fucking is evil and you should only be intimate with someone you're truly in love with. Your desire to have sex with someone you don't love will depend on your unique relationship with sex. Some people are excited about the idea of attending swingers party or finding a stranger to fuck from the web's most effective hookup websites. Others are horrified by these ideas. Personally, I would suggest that there is a place for having sex and making love in this world. Both exist on a spectrum, and that is part of what makes sex so enjoyable. Even in a loving relationship, it's likely you will desire both flavors of sex. Sometimes, you will feel the urge to show your partner how much you adore them in the bedroom. On the other occasions, you will be horny as fuck and want to fuck the living daylights out of them. Studies suggest that women are most likely to feel this way when they are ovulating, although there will be plenty of external factors at play too. Ultimately, as long as everyone is consenting, you should feel free to fuck or make love as often as you see fit. There are health benefits to both. They will both make you feel closer to your partner. You will feel great either way.